if you look at the next 10, 15, 20 years in front of us, let me ask you this question. What are the top 2, 3, 4 pillars which is going to define our future? What do you think that might be? AI and machine learning, as we've just discussed? Yes, perhaps. Fintech, big data, blockchain, biotechnology? That's what you'll be thinking, right? Our futures, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be defined by trust, by ethics, by humanity, by values, and by empathy. Because you can have blockchain, if you don't have trust, you have nothing. You can have fintech, but you don't have compliance governance, you have nothing, effectively. You can have the science of biotechnology and the wonderful things on machine learning and AI. But if you don't have the ethics surrounding it, this doesn't work. So I'm going to use this opportunity to invite our speakers, our esteemed speakers. We have 4 amazing people, one of them from Careem. We have Shadi from Dark Matter. We have Bebop Gresta. He's going to be joining us. He's an engineer. And last but not the least, Renee, who's the managing partner at Roland Berger. Please.
Thank you, Tariq. Good morning. My name is Shadim Jais. I'm Executive Vice President with Dark Matter. And my passion is the intersection of public policy, technology, and human capital development. That has been my career from my consulting world and now in my new role with Dark Matter.
So my name is Adib Barsi. I am Managing Director at Careem. I've been there, for the most part, involved in the mobility side, but over the last few months, I'm involved in starting a new venture there.
I'm the co-founder and chairman of Hyperloop Transportation Technologies. Hyperloop, it's, imagine a capsule full of people. You put this capsule inside the tube. You suck out the air from the tube, so there's no resistance. Now you can move the capsule from point A to point B at almost the speed of sound using a tiny fraction of the energy.
Renee, could you, as one of the co-hosts of this event and a senior member, could you guide us through your introduction of your background and how you see the space of mobility?
Thank you, Tariq. I've been in transportation for the last 30 years as a consultant. I've been in automotive industry for the last 30 years as a consultant. So times are great because it's getting together. But we should remember a few of the basic starting points which we talk about when we look at the new future pictures. The first is there is something called as Marchetti's law. And Marchetti's law is very simple, is the disposable means we have as a person, we will spend on mobility, remain equal. What it means is that over time, and this has been kind of proven nicely since the 1880s, and if you ask historians, it goes back to roughly the 1700s. Now what happens is, because we are curious, we are social, it comes back to what we really want. We want to connect. Look at what happened with all the technologies which we have. We see more travel. We see more people meeting. It's not going to go all virtual because we like social interactions. So Marchetti's law will continue, meaning more people will meet.
Just changing gears a little bit, I just put an image up there of a little drone, an automated drone, and that could also change mobility yet again, because we could live outside town, 20, 30 miles away, the schooling will change, real estate will change, everything will change, and therefore our overall structure of thinking will change. May I go to you, Renee, in this kind of world where cars are horizontal on one level, but the moment we get into these, can have millions and millions, we'll have drone smog and all this kind of nonsense with all of these cars. Do you see this as a realistic way forward?
For me, it's a very realistic way going forward. What I said, we need to open up for kind of the new opportunities which we have. Yes, there are many challenges, as in how do you make it safe? How do you kind of keep the controls happening? How do you kind of get the legislation up? How do you make it accessible so it can have a wide penetration? But still, we should not discard it. Again, the total monopoly which we have from the car, we should let go. There are different systems. if urbanization kind of continues, which is doing at a very high pace, again, bringing kind of all the people in a kind of controlled way, still will be one of the big demands where we have. So for me, it's a matter of time that we have the aerial taxis kind of coming in. We need the test beds. Again, looking at what's happening here, the big challenge out there is yes, it's the technology, but if you go into many technologies, the technologies are actually there or are being developed. The real challenge out there is how do you put them in practice?
In reality, the real topic here is about talking about the passenger experience. You know, when you look at how we are looking at the traveler right now, we are clustering people in first class, second class, and things that are completely alien from humans. You know, what does it mean? I'm a different person when I'm going to work than when I'm coming back from work. I need different things. When I'm traveling with my wife, I need different things when I'm with my wife and my children. So the human aspect of travel has not been taken in consideration. What we are designing is a complete new passenger. We call it naked passenger. I know it's not popular in this region, but it doesn't mean it's naked. It means that it doesn't need anything to be identified, and only your biometry will allow you to actually travel and receive the services that will be tailor-made for you in the journey, in the period that you will be into this or the sequence of different modality that you will be using.
I think it's a very interesting segue to talk about the startups quickly, because we're just about to follow up with them. Do they really have a future in this big space, or they're going to be just spinning their wheels literally, and then the moment they become slightly interesting, you guys just gazump them, buy them out, and poor guys. I mean, okay, they'll exit and all
Well, they're
that.
not poor if you were to buy them.
It means they are not poor.
But seriously, I mean, you have the bangs and the fangs and the bats on there, and then you obviously have the automobile fangs and bats. So, you know, what is their future? What should they be looking forward to?
I think it's a great time if you're in the
Yeah.
mobility space, Transportation 2.0, to be a startup. Marrying all of this conversation, mobility is now on a curve where it's going to solve problems at scale. That's basically the problem statement. That's why there's so much enthusiasm and energy in the space. So when you do this at scale, you have to bring costs down for high utilization of any portfolio of different things that you're using to solve the problem. And this is a great opportunity for small startups to bring in a technology while you can test run these technologies at scale, which means it gives them a platform to quickly come in and become way bigger and a shorter path to get there.
The future is already here. 20, 30 years, all the projections of when these technologies will materialize, it's already here. It's a glimpse of an eye. We saw your video. It will be in our lifetime. There will be many casualties. Many of the startups will survive, many more will not, but definitely things will change. To your point, investment in data and making these machines more intelligent, making our transport system more intelligent and hence more efficient through that intelligence is the way to go. I would say the main barrier will always be the investment and how fast we can catch up and how fast we can make it happen.
So what's your advice to them? First thing tomorrow morning, can they take any action?
Speaking from my vantage point with this, I would say investment in technology could be needs to be done in a wise manner, and needs to take into account how can I secure and make this investment safe from a future perspective.
My final comment is we're living in an ecosystem, and mobility is part of a much larger ecosystem. So we need to be able to think in an interconnected, interdependent way as we look forward into our investments, into our opportunities, and the way forward. Please put your hands together for a wonderful panel.